Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Peter Terzopin. Wrapping up semesters, students always give me some good ideas, and one of them to review is an idea I always say um, when developing, say, an introduction. I'll talk about develop, cite, thesis. It's a catchphrase, right? Develop content, cite something, and then a thesis. So, for example, when you're doing an intro, and we're talking about average papers that can range from like 3 to 5 pages, even 10-page papers. If you start getting into 20, 30-page papers, maybe the intro is a little different. But if you're talking about shorter papers, and a nice intro is roughly 6 to 8 sentences, you want to develop some detail, some background, a little bit about the topic or whatever the paper is going to be about. You want to cite something that shows research, shows something that helps anchor a part of that introduction, shows research and analysis, right? Cite, develop, cite, and then thesis. After that, citation, you can develop a little bit more if you want. Cite, develop, cite and show more analysis. Or you can just go into a thesis or some type of topic sentence. In this paper, comma, whatever topic will be analyzed in the following areas. List them off, and those typically are a good idea to be your headers. You see what's required of the paper, and then you list those things off, and those are your headers. So that helps you to develop the whole introduction, and it shows enough content and analysis. It shows research, and it shows a nice, concise thesis, or some people call topic sentence, depending on what you want to look for. So when you get those headers put in place, that kind of rolls over into a different area, which is putting the body or the bones or the structure of the paper. I had a student say it the other day. They said, yeah, if you had a good thesis, that could actually lay out your paper, and then you can fill those paragraphs of the Goldilocks effect, which I say is 4 to 6 sentences per paragraph, the Goldilocks effect. And I have videos on that on my education channel. But we also like to develop, cite, develop. And so people then go and say, well, but Dr. P, does every paragraph have to be 4 to 6 sentences? Do you have to cite in every paragraph? And there's a lot of flexibility to that. Some papers, professors don't want sources, so you need to listen to what they're saying. Some of them, can you cite more than once in a paper? Sure. Cite, develop the idea in the next sentence, cite, and it shows not only your research, but the analysis afterwards. It's, anyone can cite every sentence in a paragraph, but when you develop it, cite, develop, cite, develop. So do you want to cite once or twice or 3 times? This is all just a general plan, right? Some people write longer sentences, maybe they do 4. Some people are short writers, maybe they do 6. Can you do 7, 8? Sure. But be careful not to make it too long, and then you lose focus on the content or what that paragraph's about. So why do I stress the clarity of the thesis and why it should match your headers? Because I always say this, I'm not stupid, right? And I'm not lazy. But what it does is it helps you to organize and develop your work. It lets the viewer or the grader know you know what this is about. You've read the assignment, you know the requirements, and you're expressing the requirements. So that's a big plus. When you lay those headers out, that keeps your paper focused, and it lets the viewer know, or the grader, saying, this is one section, I need you to grade this. Here's another section, I need you to grade this. And so if someone's grading with a rubric, it helps to keep it clear that you've addressed all the parts, and it's kept everything in order. Now, I do always suggest a pro tip. If you do not know what you're doing, or you're just throwing something together at the last minute, or you just really don't care, maybe you got a checklist, the professor just goes, well, it looks long enough, who cares? Then I would use the pro tip of just throwing it all into one paragraph and hope that the professor doesn't notice things are missing or not developed. That's a pro tip, okay? And I jokingly say that. Don't pull that with me. So the idea is good organization, solid thing to do, and that's when I talk about cite or develop cite thesis. That's what that means, right? And that was a really good question by a student to try to elaborate on this a little bit more. I appreciate the idea, and best of luck.